them either. I'll pay for the time.
Do this now. Mwashwa nyatoshinyanaka swanyano nyanushanya. Blessings of Mother, Father, Source upon you. It's wonderful that we're able to connect again. This is Bagine.
Hi, Bagine.
How are you?
Well, you know, I'm always good.
Wonderful, wonderful. A wonderful glow about you today.
And you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
How are things going with you?
Oh, quite well, thank you. Quite well. We love our position and our energy and the energy of all our friends around us. As I'm sure you're well aware.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So, why did you want to connect with us?
I wanted to connect because the last time I connected was through David, and there was some kind of a disconnection in that connection, and I did feel that your message was not coming out too clearly. It's not like you had a lot to say to me. It's more like, hey, you know, each and every day I continue to sit in your presence and cultivate your presence, and I just be with you, and we have started to channel, and what we are doing so far seems to be introducing other people to parallel lives. So I wanted to get some clarity from you guys. What you would really like me to do besides just going with the flow in each session? You know.
Okay.
Like I need some
structure. We'll begin with this. And then we'll move into the parallel timeline discussion. So as far as connecting and keeping your connection and allowing the connection to flow, as any conversation, you must allow for some play back and forth. Now, with David, nothing against his channeling or his capabilities or the way that he grounds, but he sometimes has difficulties cultivating the heart energy required to feed the high energy grounding of the feline heart energy. And it might be a reason why some of this is difficult, because the masculine mind deciphers what the heart is telling it. The feminine energy of the heart tells the brain what to do or what to say, and then the masculine mind will interpret the message and allow it to flow outwards. Nothing against his channeling capabilities, very talented. But he's going to have to learn that when you're connecting with certain energies that require certain connections, you're going to have to focus this energy in order to solidify the connection. Makes it difficult when you're allowing your masculinity to clash with your femininity. You have to allow perfect unison and facilitate the proper energy to facilitate the proper connection. For instance, if you're attempting to connect with a Yael, you would have to facilitate the third eye energy for the connection and heart energy for your grounding with your Gaia. It's more simple when you're connecting with feline energy because it's all heart. We are heart, your heart, Gaia is heart. So you focus the heart energy and you see that connection solidified. Now, apart from David, when we're looking at you and your connection, you've been undergoing some serious healing. You had a serious emotional seed that was removed from your heart and you needed physical repair done to your pump. Now, with that being said, it's not that you're not facilitating the energy properly, because you're a beautiful heart being and you facilitate the energy quite well. However, you need to facilitate the healing. You have to allow yourself the time that is required to recuperate from this. You know, while we see that you're working perfectly healthily, you know, it still takes time to repair the emotional damage, you know, and you're just going to have to allow for a little bit of time and harvest energy and keep moving it through your chakra system with your breath, as you've been doing, you know, facilitating that energy flow and feeding each of your chakra systems, allowing yourself to ground out to Gaia and allowing yourself to connect with us. Now, if you want to facilitate a stronger connection with our energy, we're more than willing to connect with you and then disconnect. You know, it's practicing making a connection and then letting it go, then making a connection and letting it go. Justin himself did this for months with Archangel Michael and Archangel Samuel, so that he could facilitate making the strong connection and letting it go and then holding it. And he still works on it daily, even today. Even today, he was working with Archangel Raphael for a better part of his morning, just facilitating a strong telepathic bond, you know, for multiple hours. This is something that takes time and effort, and it's going to take time and effort on your part in order to facilitate it. Now, don't feel that you're doing something wrong, and definitely don't try to rush it. This is your masculine mind interfering with your feminine energy. Just allow it to be and keep forming your connections and allow them to flow. And even when you're not, you know, in a channel with somebody, or when you're just sitting around in your leisure time, take the time to just meditate and connect and have a conversation with us. Get used to that energy and that information transfer, and allow the connection to strengthen. Because only through practice and through energy transfer, I won't say time because it's irrelevant, the energy transfer, are you going to get used to it. And the more you get used to it, the better off you're going to be. Now, understand that the way that Justin channels is not the same way that you channel. And there's nothing wrong with this. He's actually striving to channel the way that you do, because you allow for such perfect energy change, where you allow us to use your eyes and you allow us to use your arms and move around. Whereas with him, he goes so deep into the trance that he's unable to open his eyes, unable to move his arms. And it's because he's only willing to go 98% of the way. Now, if he let us do it, he could open his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying himself right here, and he's not allowing us to do it. Now with you want to make the connection so badly that you're willing to allow us, I won't say submissive, but you're willing to allow us to do whatever we need to facilitate our connection. And you are an example of a near perfect conduit, because you're willing to allow us to control, whereas he's willing to allow the message to come through, and he's more than capable of carrying many wonderful frequencies. He's not quite willing to let it all go. When he gets used to certain people, such as Lakesh, he'll allow Lakesh to move about, because Lakesh moves about. And he trusts Lakesh. He trusts that energy. And it's not that he doesn't trust us. He has full trust that we will respect his body and his wishes and leave when he wants us to. But we also need to earn his trust, and that we won't cause harm, and that it has to be a perfect symbiotic conduit in order for us to move around. While he's used to angelic energy, he allows them to do certain things, and it's usually just getting used to connecting with that being. The more that he connects with us and with other beings, the more he'll get used to the idea that we mean absolutely no harm, and everything that we would do would be out of love. Whereas you already understand this, so don't feel that you're not doing what you need to do because you want to channel a certain way. You're already doing exactly what you need to do. Now, as far as the connection, like I said, facilitate the heal that happened to you. Give it time. Allow your femininity to be in perfect symbiosis with your masculinity. And then when we begin to discuss the androgynous energy, while you are perfectly female, while we're discussing the androgynous energy, we're discussing the perfect symbiosis of the two energies given to you by your celestial body. Now, when you hear androgynous, you're thinking of energy that is contained within yourself. And you think that it is an energy that is part of your incarnation. And this is not what we mean by this. The androgynous energy is your connection to your planet, to your realm, to your celestial position. It's the perfect symbiosis of celestial energy that you have to connect with through your Gaia.
Right.
While you find the balance of masculine and feminine energy within your own being, you must also allow for connection with your planet, who has perfect symbiosis androgynous energy.
That would explain why I have not yet brought Balba out. Oh, Balba out because I'm not quite ready for him. I'm not sure what he wants to do. I do. I understand it. It feels like a higher energy, different from between you and thorax. Um, and it also feels almost like a trickster energy, or a shape shifting sort of energy that you could be almost anything. And perhaps we are even using it without knowing it, because you brought a lot of our lives through, and I'm end up channeling these people's other lives to introduce them to how something far greater is going on than what I can even understand. I just allow it to happen though.
This is a
The
beautiful
whole,
gift.
yeah, it's a shift, uh, idea of what I'm shifting into, and it just happens automatically though, and I am able to channel that being, which is part of the other person's life, and
Okay.
it's
Okay.
simply easier to come out of there. As it just seems like, yeah, if you can explain a little to me what's going on there,
Okay.
or
Yep. So
anything.
in pre-Atlantean era,
Yeah.
listeners, as you're called, your type of energy would be classified as a listener. Now, in pre-Atlantean times, there were people who lived their entire lives as listeners, and what they would do is they would spend their entire day relaying information from parallel realities, parallel timelines, Gaia based differences in dimensions. And it was their sole purpose to relay information from other realities so that we could learn from one another, so that we could try different experiments all at the same time underneath the exact same type of conditions and have different outcomes. And then we would relay that information through people such as yourself. And we would learn as a collective, or your people would learn as a collective, along with all of the other celestial bodies, because we would all be doing the exact same thing as well. Different experiments, different things, different types of fertilizers with different crops, different ways of growing things, different types of technology, uh, the energy input into them, the differences between different types of geometry, different types of pyramid location and setups to harmonize the frequency of Gaia. So not every frequency of every Gaia is the same because they have different pyramid setups on each of the focal points, things of this nature. And then people with your gift would connect to these other frequencies and share the information with the scientific and spiritual scientific community of your planet, of your specific timeline. Now, you might feel that it is completely random that you're reaching out and happening to be just picking out this person's different reality or parallel dimension self, but understand that it is entirely specific what you are doing. To focus on a specific parallel reality and find that very specific energy of that person's gift, that person's frequency, so that they're capable of speaking to an alternate reality is an incredibly delicate and specific job. You should not feel frustrated by this. You should feel blessed because of how specific you can actually be. And I think that you've been wrestling with this idea because you do see the significance behind it, allowing other people to connect with themselves. And while the person that you're facilitating this conduit for may not be asking all of the proper questions. And this might be why you're finding yourself at odds facilitating this type of conduit, because you know that there's more information that could come through that could help this person. But understand that this isn't your design. You're not you're not meant to throw in your 2 cents. You're meant to be a perfect conduit and allow that perfect message to flow through from the other side. So find comfort in knowing that you're doing your job perfectly. Just because the person isn't asking the very specific questions that will advance their know-how or advance their abilities or even allow them to feel satisfied with the session is not your fault. You're doing your job properly.
Well, every session has been so extremely successful.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
The thing that I'd like to try and explain to you, just to get a confirmation, is when we are looking into the parallel life of a specific person, what we do is we seem to connect to them and a whole lot of other lifetimes, or perhaps the oversoul or higher self, and we scan all the information and come out with the most specific thing that's going on in their lives in this lifetime, and it causes an image, a perfect image, to come to me, and then I see them where they are, which is with you, and they come forward in that manner. And then they only really come really forward when I bring out certain points that the client relates to, as soon as they relate to anything to do with that lifetime, that parallel life seems to come closer and closer until it actually merges exactly into what it is. You know what I mean? This is how you're showing me. The method that you're using seems to be this way. We do a lot of scanning, internal scanning of the client. Would this be correct? Or there must be a bunch of intellectual words involved here that I don't know of to explain it.
You're letting your mind get too involved here. This isn't something that you shouldn't be like mentally figuring out. This is something that you should be just allowing your heart to feel through. While you're not far off, I mean, your understanding seems to be nearly on point of what we're doing. this is something that you just need to feel through and stop letting your mind interfere. Because
I do. Yeah. Sorry, Karen.
When you're looking at their specific energy through their higher self, not the oversoul, two completely different things.
All right.
When you're connecting to their higher self, you're looking, because you have to go up, find the higher self, and then come back down to find the higher self connection in a different reality, a parallel reality, parallel dimension, however you want to look at it, parallel timeline. So you're looking at it the right way. You're looking over their energy and you're seeing it, and you flow up to the higher self, and their higher self in this lifetime will be the same higher self in all other lifetimes, because you're looking for fractals, soul fractals in different timelines. Right. And then you follow that energy back down, which will allow you to jump the timeline barrier or the dimensional barrier, and will allow you to connect to that opposite life, the parallel life.
Right. I
So
see it.
So don't make it more complicated than it needs to be, because it's already complicated enough. Just feel it out with your heart, and don't let your head get involved.
Okay. So I'm doing it perfectly, really.
Yeah, I would say that your understanding of what's happening is pretty much spot on. It's just you're letting your head get in the way of your heart. So just feel their energy, feel their connection to their higher self, and then make that connection to the parallel reality. And then connect the two. You're making a triangle.
Right. All right. Yes, I see this.
Okay.
Right.
Now when you start thinking about multiple parallel realities, now you start making connections like a pyramid, let's say, where you have multiple triangles all connecting back to the same point. Okay. Now this is where you're going to start having issues, because now you're trying to listen to 3 or 4 different frequencies that are all on the same frequency. Catch what I'm saying? Like, if you're one arm of the triangle going up to the top, you have all of these other arms that are all going up to the top, and you're really just trying to facilitate one triangle. When you're trying to make 4 or 5 triangles all at the same time, you're going to have all of these different frequencies coming through, and you're going to have a whole bunch of mixed messages, because you can't pick them all up at the same time. Not saying that you're not capable of doing this, because history has proven time and time again that people of your nature are more than capable of doing it. I'm just saying that you need a little bit of time to grow. Allow yourself to heal, push your head out of the way, and let your heart take over. And you're going to see these types of connections come through, and you'll be able to bring through multiple frequencies at the same time and allow multiple conversations to happen. But just allow it to happen. This isn't going to happen overnight. You're going to have to work at that. That's high level. Expect that, 10,000 connections down the road, maybe even more. Let's just concentrate on forming the one triangle and allowing it to flow harmoniously before you start adding a second, a third, or 10 of them at the same time. Right? And this will allow you to flow that perfect message more uniformly.
I do see 3 or 4 parallel lines in each person. And I just choose one of them that's correct that's more in line with, that's they closest to us, really.
Hmm.
You know, I don't mind telling them what they used to, what they are, but connecting to one at a time is enough for at least a year for
Yes.
them, for each person, I guess.
Yeah. But also understand that you don't always need to choose the one that's closest to their frequency or closest
Mm,
to their understanding. They may see incredible growth with an alternate reality that is very different from their own. They may have valuable knowledge that they could share with one another, being of very,
exactly.
very different natures,
Mm.
although they have the same higher self. They live very different lives.
I always see it as a building um, of flats, and I relay it that way to them so that they can go downstairs and upstairs to go and visit themselves in a meditation of their own, to seek themselves out. Because
Mhm.
once you've found one parallel life, then you're kind of open to exploring that and then some, in a way, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So I do try and encourage them to do it also on their own. There's only so much you can do.
Oh yes, yes. Many people would like to make this connection. However, not all parallel lives are on Gaia.
Right.
Some of
Actually, none of them that I connect to are on Gaia.
Mhm.
Yeah, very, very few, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah. It's very, 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 very true. You know, very rare do you have multiple incarnations on Gaia, even in separate timelines, separate realities. Because
Hmm.
when your higher self chooses to incarnate, they want to get the most information out of it as possible. They would like
Mm.
to attempt the most spiritual growth as possible. And by limiting yourself to only one experience on one planet, you may not maximize the gift of incarnation. This is why you see multiple incarnations upon many different planets, perhaps Arcturus or Sirius, Andromeda, Pleiades.
Pers-
There's so many
person-
different options, so many different options that you
Personally, I'm
could.
not really involved with the ETs. It just doesn't seem to connect with me that well.
Mhm.
I connect mostly to the elemental side of things, like you guys are more a Sirius B, and of course you're humanoids. So there's still that animal aspect where you're not completely ET, you know.
The
So
entire
I don't really
concept
venture out.
of
Mm,
extraterrestrial is a very slippery slope. You know,
mhm.
as humanity sees it, anything that isn't human is an extraterrestrial because it's outside of their world.
Right.
When you really look at it, we are all people. We just have different frequencies. You happen to resonate with the feline frequency.
Okay. Is there any material, books, or any specific teachings that you sort of have followed over the years? Like, I understand the law of one, the raw entity, was somewhere involved with you along the line, but right back in the beginning with the Lyrans. Mm. Do you still use such teachings, or is there somewhere. Well, can I just depend on you totally?
You could,
Rather,
you should.
yeah.
You should. And you should definitely try to reach out to Yeshua and
Right, yeah.
to any of your angels.
Okay.
Although the angels are seventh dimension and they have quite high densities because they have to be able to reach up to meet higher angels. The next level of angel above your angels is the 13th dimension angel. So they have to be able to meet that energy halfway. So while they're a seventh dimension, they have to reach up to at least 10th dimension. So that 13th dimension angels only have to go down as far as 10 to bridge the gap up to source. So
Okay.
reaching up from your third density while you are perfectly capable of fifth density. That way an angel only has to come down to the fifth to make a solid connection. Right. Now, these beings possess immense knowledge, including the entire history of Gaia. Entire history of Gaia. So, by reaching out to them, you're definitely going to be able to find exactly what it is that you're looking for, including your oversoul. You should be your number one. Always reach out to Yeshua. The knowledge that it possesses is astounding, absolutely astounding. Now, not that I want to make a mockery of any literature on Gaia at this time. In the let's just look at since the middle of the summer of 2016 until now, the energy that has changed up until this point has never been witnessed before on Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
The energy that's going to change from now until the middle of summer, or until, let's use actual dates, until July, August
Okay.
of 2017 is going to be just as significant as it was from July, August of last year to right now. So you're going to see major jumps in energy. All of the rules change because of the dimensional shift that's happening. The energy shift in Gaia's energy meridians is changing. People can flat out grasp onto fourth dimensional energy being in a third dimensional body. And not only that, they can grasp onto fifth dimensional energy. It's facilitating abilities that haven't been seen since Atlantean years, the Atlantean era, pre-Atlantean era, when the Gaia network, energy network, was in full flood, full operation.
Right.
And even though the network is not complete at this time, the energies are facilitating the exact same type of idea because she is ascending. She's sharing this fourth and fifth dimensional energy with you. And as she ascends, her network will become fifth dimensional. And her natural energy will be fourth dimensional. So anybody that is willing to put in the work will have Christ abilities.
Right.
Because that fourth dimensional energy is here, or on your planet, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay. So any of the literature that has been written up until this point is from a spiritual standpoint, or spiritual sciences standpoint, of third dimension with a broken fourth dimensional network.
Okay.
Whereas right now, there is fourth dimensional energy with a fifth dimension energy network.
Okay.
all of that literature, while it's okay to read any of the shamanic understandings, perhaps Pat Ewing would be a good one. He's a very well-known author in shamanism. While it would be a great idea to follow any of his work, you can't fully rely on it because of the change in the energy. Things are going to be done differently.
Mm-hmm.
Even the understanding of the Akashic record for your planet is going to need specific tweaking because of the change in energy. And even where it's at right now, it's going to be different 6 months down the road. And it's going to be different 10 years down the road, because all of this energy that's coming in right now is going to facilitate change. And you probably won't see it level out for a couple 100 years.
Okay.
Right. So people need to understand that they have to be malleable in this new energy and have to be able to flow with the go. And only through connecting with people who understand this energy, such as ourselves or your angels or your oversoul, or there's a plethora of fourth and fifth dimensional beings that can help you understand fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional energy, but none of them have gone through a transition stage like what you have or what you're going through right now, where you're actually transitioning from the third and being able to grasp fifth dimensional, so fifth density energies.
Right.
So even reaching out to us, we can give you an understanding of any of the dimensional energies that you would like to understand. But to tell you what it's like to be in the 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, and what it's going to be specifically as you're going through each of those specific spots, it's going to be really difficult for us because none of us have ever experienced this. And this is why there's so much interest in what's happening with your planet right now, because we all get to learn while you ascend. We get to see it happen and speak with you guys and watch as you blossom into these beautiful spiritual beings capable of this immense energy transfer. And to watch you all bloom is just incredible, and it's awesome for us. It's probably even more fun for us than it is for you guys that actually are going through the transition.
Mm-hmm. And this is why we are so very much observed by many entities all the time, right? Because I feel loads of people around, loads of entities around me. They don't necessarily want anything, they're just watching.
Mm-hmm. Well,
there's one in particular with the elephant being.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot like Ganesha, but he's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who he is. I would like to sort of know who he is because he has been with me from a very young child, and the like as just as much as there's been angels around me. It's an ongoing presence. But when I was younger, I knew these people very intimately compared to now. It's just a memory. I used to have long conversations with him. I loved him so much. It was almost like a love affair, but I was a child kind of thing. When I feel it now, it brings tears and it touches my heart again because I remember them so clearly. And I would talk to them for hours and hours, and eventually they disappeared, and again they were there and talk,
Hmm.
talk, and it, you know, as humans, as we got conditioned, it all just faded away. So
Exactly. Exactly.
I guess
Your masculinity was crushing your
uh,
femininity. And don't forget you had a tree growing out of your heart.
right,
Right. So that definitely got in the way.
okay,
Right.
makes
So
sense.
you can easily reach out to him. He never left you. He always watched over you.
When I think of him as Ganesha, I would also then think of how would I talk to him, because he would be Indian or of another language. So I guess I'm going to have to just be patient with that and allow him to come through. In fact, somebody's going to get a parallel life with them pretty soon.
Mm,
You know, like I can see that happening, and that is probably when I'm really going to get to meet them.
his family name is Niantuk.
Nientuk,
Niantuk.
ni, ni, K-E, ni, or ni,
Uh, N
N-I-E,
E A.
N-E-A,
Niantuk. O M T U K. Niantuk. But all one word.
C-O-O-K.
Yu. Or O.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
this name, it's got took at the end of it. Is
yeah.
there an say again? Is there any relation to uh, took be, or is this totally just the elephant?
No, that's just his family name.
His
Niantuk.
family name. All right, thank you. That would
You're welcome.
be interesting to connect with.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
follow the energy.
yeah,
Allow me a moment to reach out. He's quite
absolutely. Have some water. I think
he's
just
quite high.
yeah,
Hold on. He's got to
very big guy.
he's got to let us do it.
Yeah.
He's been having difficulties with this.
Mm.
It was a powerful strain on our connection. Thank you for the opportunity for the spiritual growth.
Thank you. This is nice. I took
Nyantuk.
Nientuk. Oh, it's so nice to meet you again. I feel like I've been disconnected for many years. Can we re-establish this connection?
Pardon. This
Can
is still
we?
Bagine.
Oh, sorry. No problem. You
Would you
would
like
just
to?
in and out if you did.
Yes, our connection was strained when drinking. It was
Oh,
very, very difficult for him to allow us to do that. But thank you for the opportunity to allow him to grow.
of
It's
course.
most wonderful. Most wonderful. Justin is most capable of
Anything.
connecting with the elephant races. He's been learning from one of their elder shaman in their healing modalities. Can most definitely facilitate the eighth dimensional conduit required. It's very similar energy to the Octurians. He can most certainly help you with this connection. It is certainly one of your guides. We won't say a spirit guide, but certainly one of your guides.
Right.
Amyantu. Nyantuk. Amyantu.
Too. Yan. Yan.
Amain. Amyantu. Tu. Nyantuk.
Right.
If you wish to make this connection, we can leave.
I don't want to leave at all. Ever.
That's all right. We'll enjoy your frequency as well.
But perhaps we can do this while we are meditating together.
Oh, yes.
We can do this on
We're
our own.
always with you.
I don't want to put any strain on the conduit.
No, there's no strain.
But if it's available and it's worth connecting to, then
Yes.
it would be
We can
good.
we can sense the importance in your voice.
Is it important though? I have no idea. It just feels so right, you know.
It causes you emotional growth at the thought of reconnecting. And I would say that there is significant importance with this.
Yes. You know, I have no no one has ever been able to see any of my guides except me. and basically because my guides are silent, they're quiet. They are more observing, and I'm more their teacher than they are to me. And
it is certainly a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
You learn, they learn.
Right.
They teach, you learn. You teach, they learn.
But in a sense of, you know, how everybody wants to know who their guide is. And, this becomes like a real stupid question in the end sometimes, because they don't really have one. They have not created one. They are just not ready to connect to one because somehow, I don't know these answers, but the whole idea of just asking me who's my spirit guide, you know.
Many spirit guides
Yeah.
do not like to have the moment you realize that you're speaking to your spirit guide
Mm-hmm.
type of situation ruined by allowing somebody else to tell you what their name is.
Oh,
Ma-
right.
Many of them want you to have the spiritual growth required to meet them on your own. So when you do meet them on your own, you can have that bond where you're sharing this energy with somebody that has been watching over you your entire life, helping you grow,
Mm-hmm.
helping you through your pain, through your joy. And when you connect with them, there is an incredible sense of accomplishment that you put in the work required to speak with your spirit guide, with your higher self. So many of them do not reach out to channelers
I see.
to allow that person the opportunity of the joy of connection for the first time without any perversion from any previous channel.
So it's something like you would need to meet me halfway, reach
Exactly.
out to me, and I'll,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, and yeah, because one, Trina was the first one that came forth for me, and it was a total life transformation having a
Exactly.
guide such as her, and
Exactly.
she turned out to be my higher self. Uh, even to this day, she still goes to visit everybody in the community, and she's still touching people's lives. I don't channel her that much anymore too, because she gets around on her own, you know.
Oh, yes.
But what a blessing just to have that for myself.
Exactly. Exactly. This is the exact type of connection that we're talking about. It is life changing,
Yeah,
and to know in your being that you co-created that connection, it goes a really long way. It builds confidence in your spirituality, in your studying of the spiritual sciences, to know
mm-hmm.
that you're capable of making these connections, but also know that many of these connections won't come until you're ready, until you
Yeah,
really, really want them. Not so much need them,
absolutely.
because they're always with you.
Yeah, I was desperate. I, you know,
Hmm.
I wasn't having any of this no guidance nonsense. I was desperate,
Hmm.
and I just reached out and grabbed. You know, you get to certain point in your spiritual life where you are very, very serious and you want to change. And that is when things do change, is when you become really authentic about what you are seeking and what you want to do with your life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been through so much spiritual change in my lifetime, in all my years of growth, but never have I reached this point where I'm actually integrating with my my guides, so to speak, my spiritual guides, even to you guides. This has just been so phenomenal to me, not only to me but to others. It's very inspirational that we can even create such an interconnected relationship like this.
Thank you very
People don't
much.
understand it really, but it's between us, I guess.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. We enjoy Justin's energy. He
So,
facilitates a wonderful conduit.
thank you. Difficult
Yes,
to see
thank you.
myself as a wonderful conduit. It's been only like 6 months since I started. Yes, we've accomplished a lot, so it has been good.
Yes. Hmm. It has been very good. You have accomplished much in a short amount of time. You should be very proud. But also be patient and know that there is much energy that yet needs to be assimilated. You must take the time. Take the time to heal and to absorb this beautiful energy. And the best way to form strong energy bonds is by connecting and maintaining the energy. You're well on your path. Well on your path. I'm very glad to see how far you've come, and even more glad to see how healthy you are. It's wonderful, wonderful to see the changes that you're making in your life. Be proud of yourself.
I will. It's a difficult journey loving yourself. You know,
Most certainly. Most certainly.
I find with my heart is very, very sensitive, and
Of course it
I
is.
fall in love with everybody I meet. And then at some point, there's always a rejection point with one of them, whoever they are. They're not lovers, they are just people, you know, and
Hmm.
it is always this pain. But it's not uncontrollable or anything. It's just a very high emotional IQ that they say it is. I don't know, that you just feel so much all the time.
Hmm.
I guess I got to grow stronger with that whole emotional thing within me. You
Yes.
know, allow it
It's
to.
something that much of humanity struggles with, dealing with the emotions. And even more so for empaths because they feel everything of everyone around them, not just their own emotions. They have to feel everybody else's emotions as well.
Yes.
But share your
I,
love, share your love. It will become easier in time.
I came across something the other day and I'm just sharing with you, that explains love really, really well. And that is that like, we shouldn't really be falling in love. It's not something, that's what not the relationship. Love is not really what's important. What is important is that you reflect off your partner so that you can love that part of you. It's a mirror effect. Yet we approach this marriage institution with this falling in love idea, and I love you and I love you, but all you're really doing is loving yourself. It's all about you. There's not much of yeah, I guess, well, you do become one person, but it's this reflection of each other that creates the whole person within you and within both people. Many times I've wanted to leave my marriage, and I keep getting reminded of this concept that, it's not about not having love there. It's more about loving yourself through what you see in my opposite. So I
The
am learning.
concept of marriage is a difficult one.
Yeah.
But we would say that you shouldn't enter a marriage for you. You enter a marriage for your partner. And your purpose in a marriage is to take care of your partner. Both sides, not just female. Both sides. It's up to the male to take care of the female, and it's up to the female to take care of the male. And through only caring about their partner, will they find a uniform marriage. Now, if you're entering a marriage for any other reason, then you found somebody that you want to take care of. You're probably not entering a marriage for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is a partnership. It's very difficult to love another if you don't first love yourself. Many people struggle with this, and we see it very often that people enter these partnerships with selfish intent. Oh, I want to marry this person because they're going to provide the means for this certain way of life, or they see selfish intention when they first enter it. Whereas if they went into it expecting nothing except for the opportunity to take care of their partner and wanting only to be taken care of by their partner, and having this mindset throughout the entire marriage, then their marriage would succeed, because only through the combined will to want to take care of each other for the rest of your lives will a marriage succeed. So I would suggest to anybody who's contemplating marriage or who is in a marriage that is having issues, try to find common ground and take care of your partner to the best of your ability, and ask that they take care of you in all aspects, emotionally, physically, financially. You take care of one another, and this is the true idea of marriage. Not just for a physical need or a financial need. You find that people enter marriage for one of these reasons. Very, very rare do they go into a marriage for all three to be taken care of. Simple gestures
mm,
make up a marriage. No, 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 dear, don't do the laundry. I'll do the laundry today. No, no, no. Please allow me to do the dishes. Why don't I help you do the dishes so that we can do it together? Doing simple tasks together make things go smoothly, rather than putting things off or, hey, why don't we do this together? Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Let's get this done so we have time for each other. You know, it's often overlooked, often overlooked.
Bagine, I think you know my situation. That is, I've been married now for 18 years, but I disconnected about 15 years ago. We still live in the same house. We pass through the corridor every week and say hi. We live such separated lives. He's a pastor of a church and a teacher, and I am doing all this other work on the internet and working from home. Never quite get to even want to spend time with each other. We have lost ourselves completely. And I do feel uh, responsible, you know, and perhaps maybe I need to change.
Baby steps.
I need to,
Baby steps.
yeah.
You're still married.
It's been a big, I'm not getting unmarried, that's for sure.
Mhm.
You know,
You still live
um,
together. There's while
yes,
there has been disconnection for some time, doesn't mean that you don't have the
a
the time
connection.
to reestablish the connection. And while you're both following very
Yeah,
different lines of work, you're both
mm,
living in your country and you have the means to survive. And while you both follow different forms of spirituality, it does not mean that either of you are wrong.
mm,
All I would say is start off slow, do simple tasks, begin helping him out slightly, and you'll see him come around too, because he still loves you.
mm, mm. Yeah, I do feel I need to do something somehow. Mm,
Share your love, and he'll tell
yeah,
you what he needs.
mm. He's very quiet and observed. He never goes out. Yeah, like we've never had a honeymoon. He he just does not want to be out in the public at all. We have a 16-year-old daughter, so between myself and her, we struggle because we can't get out the house. We are confined in the house. It it's difficult to get the message across to him that we do need to go out and build on our family before it really just crumbles. So mm, I think I do need to start doing some more work in that area. But worried that my daughter's gonna sort of freak out one of these days and just have a tantrum over him because he just does not want to budge. He's just stubborn in his ways. Um, hmm,
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm just sharing with you
Just, I would
what's
say,
on my heart.
share your love.
Mm,
Share your love, and you'll see his barriers melt away. And with your child, the exact same. Support. Support is a major part of humanity, and it's rarely seen. Find out what interests your child and support her decisions. Listen to what she has to say. Uh, Allow her ideas and her needs and to enter into your being and incorporate them. Respect her for what she needs as well. And because she's a young adult, in a very tough part of the world. And it's not easy growing up in that type of an area. Find out what her concerns are, find out what her plans are, and then help her achieve them. And she'll respect you far more later on. Just show love and support and help her in any way that you can. And she'll figure out who she is and what she needs when she needs it. And
we are very close.
Oh yes. Yeah. And I'm not in any way stating that you're separated. I'm just saying for family to grow, there's got to be give and take. You have to support each other and allow for that growth to happen.
Do you think there is still time to mend this? To mend it?
Oh yes.
Before.
Most certainly. I would say that the more support that you show her, you don't need to be overbearing by any means, but the more support that you show her, the easier it will be for her to find her own path and to make strong decisions based upon what it is that she wants. And I think that feeling support, the opportunity to be able to walk whatever path it is that she chooses, is going to be the most important part for her. And for your husband.
Yes,
it can't be easy for her being the pastor's daughter in South Africa.
Yeah.
Just the social status alone, would be a difficult one for anybody to be a part of, especially with where the world is right now with religion and spirituality. It's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult for people to resonate with this type of energy. So kudos to him for him to be a community spiritual leader. And whether you believe it or not, you yourself are a spiritual leader as well.
Yeah.
With the acceptance that you've had with the horrendous acts that have befallen on you in your lifetime is probably why you were able to let go of those emotional seeds as easily as you did. You were so ready to move on past all of that previous hurt because you found understanding in every one of the situations, and it's really a beautiful thing on your part to be able to move on and to begin healing in the way that you have,
Mm.
you know, and it speaks volumes as to where you're at in your own spiritual growth, where you're willing to let go of all of this past hurt in order to find a new path spiritually and for your family, so that you don't have to so that you can continue on the
Mm-hmm.
path that you've already begun.
Perfect. I love you so much.
I love you too. I love you too.
We have in our own time when we just sit and speak to each other. It's exactly like this. We have these long discussions, and except they're much quicker because of the way you communicate telepathically.
Mhm.
Um, but we do spend this time together. And as a human, I always want confirmation that it was real. It's so ridiculous, really. I should really trust you completely now, by now. Do, I do.
Again, it's not
Uh,
me that you're having issues trusting. It's yourself that you're having issues trusting.
right.
You're letting your head interfere with your heart,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
you can even speak to Justin about how he began, but he'll tell you flat out, he started off with 2 words, 3 words, asking full sentences or paragraphs and hearing 2, 3 words at a time. And then from there, it grew to sentences. And then from there, it turned into conversations. Until now, he's capable of holding a telepathic conversation for better part of the day,
Right.
facilitating a conduit for better part of the day. Where eventually he'll be able to be a conscious channeler and allow Octurians to perform surgical psychic surgery through him,
Yeah.
allow
Well,
the 13th dimension mantids to work through him. And it's the same thing with you. It starts off slow, 2, 3,
right.
4 words, a sentence, perhaps a short paragraph. It takes time. And like I've said before, you have healing that still has to take place.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And don't rush it. The reason we're not rushing it is because you need time to repair. It's a miracle that you're still here.
Right. Yeah.
Literally a miracle that he was capable of doing what he did, facilitating that conduit for those beings to allow them to work on you. You co-created your own healing because you were
Yeah.
ready to move on. So just that, just if we were to say just that one step,
Mm-hmm.
you should probably take 6 months and just sit with that alone and allow yourself that time. But the times, they are oppressing. And you can feel that as well
Yeah.
because you are a capable channel.
Mm.
And we don't see anything wrong with you assimilating this new energy while you're healing, and to be finding, ways of creating currency through using your gifts, because you're going to help other people ascend. There's positive information that you can bring through.
Mm.
And the healthier you are, the easier it's going to be. So really take time to heal yourself. And by healing yourself, you'll see the bond between your family and your spirituality become even stronger.
Mm. Yeah, I see that. Excuse me. Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe one day you'll be able to heal like him. You're certainly
Mm.
capable of it.
I've always known I have healing. I used to, in the church, I used to do the laying on of hands, and most people got healed
Mm-hmm.
instantly. I could feel the energy come through and touch them,
Oh yeah,
and it just came naturally to me. It wasn't something I needed to learn or anything. It just
exactly,
happened.
exactly. And would you like to understand where this came from?
Yes.
Okay. All healing is from an understanding of the Akashic Records. There's a portion of the
Yay.
there's a portion of the Akashic Records that is only for healing. And in many of your previous lives, you have studied the healing portion of the Akashic Records. So while in this incarnation, you haven't really dove into that portion, you still have the memories locked away in your chakra system.
Mm-hmm.
And it will always be a part of you because it is written on your light body. So even though you don't fully understand in this incarnation because you haven't studied it, you still know that you're capable of doing it because you've done it many, many times before.
Mm. I still do it. I just don't think of it in terms of a library out there in space. It's more of something that I can just look into from right where I am, and can browse through my own history, of course, not anybody else's really.
Yes,
But
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
you know, it it it, they seem to have come closer or changed in density because it's clear how I access them, the way I picture it when I access them. It's very clear and conscious, and I know exactly what I'm doing. They don't. I have no idea. This is like the story of my life. I know exactly what I'm doing, but I have no idea how I
Mm.
know. You know, it just happens. It's like
It's almost like you decided to
experience,
walk this path before you incarnated, hey? Oh,
right?
almost
Yes,
exactly like that, hey?
right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the weird things is I can also do future predictions, and they extremely uh, radical to the point that that would never happen. But I've done it throughout my life. I've journaled about it, and everything came came to pass. Mm. But it's not something I desire or wanted. It was just psychic abilities that I was holding in on as a child, as a teenager. I went in and I studied a lot of occult and astrology and everything. You know, my whole life has been gearing into the spiritual arena. It's just been such an attraction. So it's one awakening up after the other, and then learning to unlearn everything you've learned, and then keeping up with what's happening now, and only really using with what you have now. Kind of, that's really something that's happening. The fact that I'm always in the now liberates me so much more. And I don't have to pull things out from the past or the present because everything is here already. It's very much like the fourth density is that everything is there. You can do so much more there. It's just so, I don't know how to explain it. One day I will be able to. Do I need a dictionary installed in me or something to be able to express myself more? Because right now what I'm doing is I'm sending you pictures and telepathy so that you do understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how I communicate with even to a natural person, and it works.
Mm-hmm. Vivid pictures.
I love,
I love your
say it. Sorry.
your color, your choices of color.
Yeah,
Everything is always so bright and so vibrant.
yeah. I like to incorporate color
Mhm.
everywhere in my home.
It's very wonderful. Very, very wonderful.
Can you tell me which angel has been around me all my life? Is it Raphael? I have no doubt in this, really.
Raphael
If you are,
Raphael checks
yeah,
in on you quite frequently.
yeah. I like him.
He's wonderful. I love his
Mm,
energy.
mm.
It's so soft and loving.
He's pretty good at cracking jokes as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Most of the angels are quite funny, quite humorous. There's the odd one that is very stiff upper lip,
Hmm.
but for the most part, they've been around a long time, so
Mm,
they have to keep themselves occupied, and they have quite powerful humor, although not everybody understands it.
mm, mm. I would like to get to know the angelics more.
Oh, yes, they're by all
Right.
means they're right there. All you got to do is reach out and start talking. You know,
That's the
uh,
difference between the angelics and the extraterrestrial type is that you can talk to them really easily compared to the ETs, where you really need to.
well, the thing about the angelics is
Yeah.
they're actually posted
Okay.
on Gaia or above it, however
Right.
you see it. Like they're actually bound to the energies of Gaia. So while there are of a seventh dimensional energy and up to a 10th density, they do not leave. Their job is to help out all of the beings on Gaia, whether the being is coming or going, or whether they need protection or healing. Their job is to help
Mm-hmm.
and to be around all of the beings on Gaia, not just humanity. So when you're talking to extraterrestrials, you're talking to a person that has employment on a different planet. They have a family on a different planet, and while we don't all resonate with your idea of time, we do resonate with the idea of energy. How are you spending your energy? You know, so when you're reaching out to somebody on a completely different planet, completely different solar system, you have to understand also that they're dealing with their own energy and their own surroundings. So you don't really have any idea of what's going on there. Are they helping their child? Are they preparing nourishment for their family? Are they at some form of a community meeting? Are they making art? Are they playing music? Are they at a concert? All of these things that you do, we do as well. So, when you're reaching out to somebody, you really have to understand that they have a curriculum or a schedule as well that needs to be considered. Whereas with the angelics, their schedule is to look after you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're calling out to your angelics, it's their job to answer. It is their position in creation to be there for you. It brings them immense joy when they finally get the call. They're like, "Yes, I get to go help my friend." And that's what they're built for.
Which one would you say that I'm connected to besides Raphael?
Samuel,
Samuel. That's interesting.
High Protector Samuel.
Wow.
Yes.
An angel or just an archangel, or is it just
He's
what's he?
he's an archangel as well.
Okay.
But the angels do not like the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they much prefer just to be called by their name. He is an archangel as well, but that's really just a human title.
Has
If
he got
you,
armor on him?
of course,
Okay. I'm starting to see it's like gold and bronze and
often,
platinum, silver.
often seen in bronze. Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful being, Samuel.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
It's hard to picture him, but I'm getting there. He's got hair, right?
oh, of course, yeah, of course. He's like any typical protector, angelic protector. He's quite funny as well.
Oh, yeah, would have to be around me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Him and Michael get along famously because they're constantly poking fun at Gabriel.
I can imagine that because it's almost as if I've seen that happen over 1,000 times before.
Yeah, poor Gabriel. He's like the little brother that always gets picked on. Right?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's also Gabriel is also um, in my mind at least quite highly exalted more than
Oh
even
yeah.
Michael. His
Oh,
mission is very
yes.
serious.
Well, Gabriel is definitely more serious than Michael and Samuel. But I think it's because, that he's usually the brunt of their jokes.
Yeah.
But but he himself is quite humorous as well, just in his own way. And
Yeah.
you know, the no matter what angel you're talking about, whether they're an archangel or a high angel, they are incredible, incredible beings with just immense knowledge and energy capabilities. What they are built to do and how they go about doing it is nothing short of amazing and beautiful. And while they do it to the best of their abilities, they do have to give up quite a bit of freedoms that many of us are given naturally. Many of them will never feel what it's like to have their own family,
Right.
right? Because
I
they
see.
are created into their own family,
Right.
right? And while they do have a lifespan, it is not measurable by years,
Right.
because they live so long, because they have so much to do, and they chose this incarnation, and they do it, with no selfishness at all, only with love and joy. And that's how they get about their day. They just share and have fun, and everything they do, they love every part about their position. And there is the odd
That's pretty
person.
much what we're doing as well, though.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, we just.
there's a lot of humans that don't like what they do on a daily basis.
Oh, right.
They struggle through it to, make ends meet. And a lot of humans, don't really care for
Right.
like their professions, but they see it as a means to an end, so they do it anyway, and that's why they're miserable. But then you get people, or like beings such as the angels, where it doesn't matter what the job is. They'll do it because they're helping somebody out, and that's the only thing that matters to them.
How would I channel Samuel? Would I need to integrate much with him before just
Well,
speaking?
angels, like the feline, are beings of the heart as well. So I mean, you won't have to facilitate any different kind of energy. When you're meditating, if you're using Gabriel's breathing technique and you're focusing energy to your heart, you should be able to reach out to him relatively easily. And he's always around you and looking to connect with you, so it should be relatively easy to do. Perhaps start with a telepathic communication, and ask them to announce themselves, because sometimes it's really difficult to maintain that connection, because, like I said, they're a seventh dimension with up to a 10th density, so they bring a lot of energy to the table, so you got to reach up quite high. Even when Justin was attempting to connect with me, he was talking to Angel all morning, and I'm sitting there and I'm telling him, nope, you're looking too high. You're still looking too high. You got to bring it down a little bit, friend, and then once we found it, it was easy for us to connect. But, the it's a very, very high frequency. So it might take some time to get used to, but start off telepathically and just get them to announce themselves, and you might hear it 3, 4, 5 times. This is Archangel Samuel. Or he might not even announce himself as Archangel Samuel. He just have it, this is Samuel. Greetings. This is Samuel. Typically they say archangel, though, because of the everybody's so used to hearing it that they kind of do it
Right.
just so
Yeah.
that you know exactly who they're speaking to.
Yeah. Well, is there somewhere on the internet that has all this knowledge of the angels? I'd like to get to know them, but maybe not. I don't know if I want to go looking on the
There
internet for it.
there are websites that follow archangels, and they do give, and many of the other angels as well. Um, but so much of it is misconstrued,
Mm,
and there's so many other aspects that they bring into it that it's really,
twisted it. It's twisted the whole.
yeah, that's a really good way to say it. It's, I don't want to go so far to say is that they're half truths, because it's not really a half truth. They have really good intentions in putting that information out there. It's just that they don't have the entire story.
Okay.
Right. So, saying that, that Uriel is connected to Jupiter, as some
Mm-hmm.
of the sites do, because he's the head angel.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't make sense. He has no connection to Jupiter whatsoever. He's bound to Gaia, for crying out loud. Like
Yeah.
it makes no sense to say that, oh yes, this angel is bound to the energies of Mercury. Talking out your wazoo there, friend. So there are lots of sites out there where you can get good information about them and some basic understanding of them, especially just to learn the names, because there's millions of angels.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them are bound to this timeline. Like they're spread throughout, all of the timelines, and you won't hear any of the names on unless somebody from a different timeline happens to come to this timeline and write information about it. But then, this is where you also get differences in the information as well, because somebody's changed timelines and they have a Mandela, and they don't, all of the information doesn't line up. They're like, wow, we've never heard of any of these angels before. Well, it's because they're not from here. Right.
Right.
Right. So this is a reason why there's also differences in information as well, because there's more than one Archangel Michael. There's more than one
All right.
there's more than one Archangel Samuel. Right.
That's interesting.
Somebody has switched timelines and written up a post about it, or written up a website about it, and it's completely contradicting information as to other sites. Well, it's because those two authors are from different timelines.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting.
And they haven't made the connection that they're shifting timelines. Right. So it's not that any of the information is wrong. It just may not be the proper information for your current timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which is always something you have to take into effect. And of course, people are always pointing fingers at each other because they have these massive swollen egos. And they're saying, oh, yeah, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't follow this site, because they don't understand the information that they're trying to bring forward, when really they're both doing a very sincere job and trying to put the information out there properly. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that they're not really in the right timeline, and they haven't put that information together.
Mm-hmm. So, if I were to approach this, the information idea through Samuel, mm, it would
Make
be a
make a
whole better
connection with them.
idea.
Make a connection with them and
Yeah.
start talking to them the same way that we're doing now. They're more than willing
Okay.
to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
Just take your time and really listen to them. Really, really listen to them,
Yeah.
because it's very high energy coming down, right? And understand that if you're having a hard time matching their energy, they're going to have a very hard time maintaining that conduit. But the longer that you're capable of speaking with them, and the more often that you're willing to do so, the easier it's going to get.
Okay. Well, we'll give it a try. But of course, I wanted to get closer to you. You know, I I want to try and stay focused, get closer to you, and then perhaps learn about the elephant. And and I think the angel idea would be great just for journaling with, or automatic writing. I would love to do that with Samuel, just to have a conversation in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as if it's easier for him to talk to me if I were to write a conversation with him, like with other.
However, you have to bridge that
Yeah.
gap. You're perfectly capable of forming a conduit for them. But
Okay.
if you needed to get more aligned with his energy, yeah, automatic writing would be a great way to do it. Um, Please understand that, not that they're secretive by any means. It's just that they've had a lot of messages get misconstrued
Yeah.
in the past through writing.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not even going to get into the religious books,
Yeah, no, totally. I get it. I
but
understand.
it comes from this kind of an understanding where they don't want prophets anymore, um,
Yeah.
just because they don't want people seen as that, as a prophet, where they don't want this mysterious power that's placed upon this one person, where everybody just flocks to this one person for the specific messages. They don't want that bestowed upon anybody, because they want the message that everybody is capable of doing this.
Right.
Right, and that's what they're really, really trying to push out there, is that telepathy is the bond that is going to break down all barriers.
Right.
The sooner that we all start practicing telepathy, the sooner we don't have to worry about what color we are, or what language we speak, or what part of the world we live in, because we can talk to each other no matter where we're at.
This telepathy idea, why is it so difficult with another human?
Because you're
Why?
all using your heads.
Yeah, true. So what we need to do is lose our minds.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Not that the
Right.
mind isn't incredible. It definitely has its place, and there's been absolutely fascinating things that have come about it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't use your calm and cool intellect. I'm saying that the calm, cool intellect has nothing to do with matters of the heart.
Right.
Right. And the sooner that you guys can connect heart to heart, and you do it all the time, when you're walking around and you start feeling other people's emotions, you're connecting heart to heart. This an
Right.
empath's intuition is their telepathic connection to others.
All right.
But you're only going halfway, because
Okay.
while you're reaching out and you're making this telepathic connection, those other people are absolutely clueless.
Right.
Whereas if they were trying to make a telepathic connection, it would be done.
Right.
But it has to be both of you reaching out heart to heart.
Right. Well, I need to find a human for that. No hurry at all.
You live with one.
That's a very interesting thing you brought up, because sometimes throughout the day I would send him a picture of what I need. him to bring home, and he always buys it, but he will always buy the cheapest version of it. So yes, he does get the message, but there's kind of this poverty mentality that's still resting upon him, you know. Uh, but regardless of that part about him, I certainly do love him, and I do use telepathy with him. I think he's the only one. Oh, apart from my mother as well. I can hear my mother farting all the time. Yeah. So, yeah. It's always best to try with a family member, I guess, first because you're so connected. Yeah.
Have you tried with your daughter?
Yep. She's very susceptible.
Mm-hmm.
She's very interested in what I'm up to
Mm-hmm.
here,
Is that
But
surprising?
yes, it is, because she's never been interested in anything I do. You know, she's
Maybe
she,
she's becoming interested because she herself is beginning to explore the spiritual sciences and needs a small amount of direction in which she needs to follow.
like she sends me uh, photos of my chakra system. You know, she'll just say, "Oh, well, I was just browsing. Yeah, I thought you may need this sometime." And she'll go and buy a mask of the tiger face, or she bought me this lion fluffy doll thing. Everything that she looks at, she notices the blue lions everywhere, and it's like almost a passion of mine has become part of her as well. It's very interesting.
She's a powerful empath as well.
Yeah, yeah. She
You'll
just
share.
doesn't show it that well.
She doesn't understand it yet. Understand she's still very young.
No,
And
she's 16. Yeah.
you know, and in a very harsh country.
Mm.
There is a lot of mixed emotion in that land that you belong to.
Mm.
Right? And rightfully so. I mean, the colonies that were settled there, have never really been accepted.
Mm.
And even though it's more than a century later since the first Caucasians begin to show up there, there's still a lot of distrust because of the differences in classes
Mm.
over the years, and there's a lot of mixed emotion in that land, along with everywhere else. Like
Mm.
this isn't just an issue that's in South Africa; it's an issue
Yeah.
globally. But uh, the she
It's difficult to be
she's
white
young.
here.
Oh yeah,
She's-
yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to be white here. You can't just be white.
Hmm.
You got to hide out and be white. And I'm married to a colored man, so my daughter is mixed breed.
Hmm.
So she mingles in with everybody perfectly. So her skin color is almost like an olive tanned,
Hmm.
so she can get away with being colored. And like she does not want to know anything about white people. There's like a
Stigma.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the white people don't want to know anything about the Africans. And here's me in between, just loving everybody, really. I don't see no difference in with colors at all. But I live in an area where it's segregated, and it's for the coloreds, let's say. So I can't go out the house and just take a walk down the street. The gangster life here is rough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they will rob, steal, and rape or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult. I have to kind of stay in the house. It's always been difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right into this, but
Oh,
I've
yes.
accepted it. I've accepted it, and I've moved on, and I've grown with it.
Yes, there's
Regardless of all the issues.
significant room for growth in that country, along with all over the world.
Yeah.
But isn't it interesting, the path that you're walking may be easier for your daughter to bridge the gap, where if she became more enlightened and understanding of the type of work that many of the light workers are doing, she could bridge the gap to the other colors of your country.
Yeah.
Right. Not saying that that's what's going to happen, just stating a possibility.
I've always seen this rainbow aura around her. It's very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's diversity all mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
It's so source energy as well.
She's a very powerful empath. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. She's just growing into herself.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful young lady.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I'm so surprised that I have such beautiful children, because, what I put myself through to get to this point, none of my children are going in the direction I went in. My children are like angels in comparison to me. Let's hope that skips a generation. You know what I'm saying? I'm just so blessed to have them born, and they stayed so beautifully intact with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's still difficult to conceive how beautiful that creation has become, from how broken a person it came from, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's how I think I saw myself at that time.
Mm.
A lot of things are changing, of course, in my mind.
In your body as well.
Yeah. That's what happens when things change in your mind. Your body aligns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping I can lose some weight as well. Just get some exercise and get going, get moving again.
Mm-hmm. Yoga.
Yoga, yes.
There's very good options that you can find on the internet. Even little 10-minute sessions. If you link 2 or 3 of those 10-minute sessions together, you can have a very serious workout. All kinds of exact breathing for Kundalini experiences.
Oh, now I'm excited.
All the breathing that they facilitate for a lot of their movements is exactly what you need. Would be something you might want to look into. The yogis have been doing this stuff for a long time.
Right.
Hey,
We
Bagine,
will.
this is Bree. I have a quick question about that.
Yeah.
I heard that Lyrans introduced yoga to Earth. Is that true?
Again, as the healing modalities were an understanding of the Akashic Records, so is yoga. There was some felines that have introduced a version of the understanding of this Akashic record to humanity. But we and other felines were not the only ones. So we won't take we're not totally responsible for this.
I can see there's about 3 or 4 different other
And there and there has been, members of humanity that have found this knowledge on their own as well.
Right.
So it's not to say that you're not capable of reading the Akashic records yourselves, but you definitely, there has been sharing from higher beings, for sure. Did that answer your question, Bree?
Yeah, definitely. I recently came across cat yoga, which is just people gathering in a room and doing yoga together with cats around, and I thought it was extra ironic and hilarious based off of that understanding. So pretty cute.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It would be really nice if you could take us on in a dream state or astral and show us more about this, especially the Akashic idea of
Akashic
the healing
records.
stuff.
Akashic records are guarded by an archangel, and there are very few people allowed access to it. Only the purest of heart are allowed entrance into the library of the Watchers. I'm not saying that everybody isn't capable of gaining access to the library of the Watchers, but just to gain access to the library of the Watchers, you have to be granted access to Agartha. So that on its own is a task to be undertaken, let alone to be granted access to the library of the Watchers and then allowed to read the Akashic records, which would be done with an archangel. So it is possible, but there are some very serious steps that have to be walked or taken for humanity to gain access to this. Now, it's very similar for the rest of us as well. We have to, first prove that we are of pure heart and capable of using this benevolent information, and then deciding what to do with it is the next part. How do you go about sharing this information, because it's also our interpretation as we read it, which is why we have so many different healing modalities and why there's so many different types of yoga and so many different types of everything, because it's really just an interpretation of the records. Although they're all very similar, they're a different interpretation.
So the records that I am accessing are not the Akashic Records,
In regards to,
like when we well, like many times I would go into meditation with you, and I would sort of take something that maybe was painful, and we'd go and put that record, take that record of it out, so that it does not continue to affect us. In that way, that's sort of what I tend to do quite a lot. Is that like manipulating the Akashic records the wrong way?
no, no, no. That's not an Akashic record.
Okay.
The Akashic record is the record of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's watched over by very, very few. And it is guarded very, very carefully so that it will not be tampered with. So that the purest memory is on record. They don't want, the creator does not want this to be tampered with. So
Okay.
it is very, very well guarded, and you have to prove yourself time and time and time and time and time and time again. Multiple, hundreds of thousands, multiple hundreds of thousands of times before you'll even be considered to stand in Agartha, let alone to gain access to the Library of the Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
And don't
I'm
think
not going to
that
script it.
don't think that well, it should be something that anybody should strive to achieve. This is something that is very, very, very few are privileged to do so. And even when you are, most people that are granted this opportunity have no idea what to do with it, because it's something that they wouldn't even wish to do themselves. So like from such a humble standpoint, they stand in front of this incredible source of knowledge, and they're just baffled as to what they'd even want to learn from it, because most of them are so humble, they don't even know where to begin.
It's so like vast.
Yeah, well, it's the memory of everything. It's pretty
Yeah.
far. It's pretty big.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very wonderful. Very wonderful.
Well, Bagine, I think we're going over about, I don't know how many hours now, and Justin would need food and drink and all that.
Wonderful. It's been absolutely wonderful to speak with you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you as well. It's always beautiful to just have a talk with you. It always so settles me down a bit.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Well, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. Please take time to heal and keep reaching out, making those connections, and we'll keep connecting, and it'll get easier with time.
Okay. Great.
Okay. Much love to you.
Looking forward. And to you. Thank you so much again. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Did you have a good nap?
Oh, man.
I don't know how many hours we went there, but it was pretty long.
Probably your longest one yet, huh?
Oh,
Maybe.
Think so.
Maybe.
Did awesome, man. I think that was possibly 2 hours. Gonna have to check.
really?
Yeah,
Probably about 3 hours, yeah.
maybe. I kind of lost track of time there.
Yeah, we relaxed and had just a conversation.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It was, yeah. That's how I like to have my sessions. Just chill and relax,
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Very expansive.
yeah.
I
How do
like
you
her
feel?
energy. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like her energy. She's really calm.
Yeah.
And she has this really powerful wisdom about her.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, really powerful. I like that a lot. That was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Oh, it
Did
was
you
awesome.
did you find some understanding?
Yes, more than enough. I
Good.
think I went beyond what I even went out to try and get.
Good. Good. Yeah.
The whole thing. I just allowed the whole thing to unwrap itself in a very natural fashion,
Good.
and it became
Good.
such a just conversation
Mhm.
about specific
Wonderful.
topics, and it was good. It showed me a lot
Wonderful.
about myself and things I need to work on.
Good. Good.
Yeah. So grateful. Thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. That I always like reaching out to new beings, so having new conversations and plus then like I learn new things too, right?
Yeah.
Different understanding from different cultures and so on. And like different people that I can reach out to because they're always, oh, you should talk to this person. You should talk to this person.
Okay. Well.
That was interesting about the elephant being.
Yes.
How did that feel for you, Justin, when that happened? When you were, I don't know what that was, switching out and then switching back in?
Well, like when I grabbed the drink of water.
See, I missed that part. I heard. I just didn't understand what was happening. If you were
I
trying
thought
to
you
actually
were
connect or not.
I grabbed the drink of water,
right.
and that was really tough for me to do, and it put a lot of strain on the connection that we had. But like I even started to sweat. Like when it happened. So that there was a lot of energy. That took a lot of energy to reach over and grab that cup and to drink it. But I think it was just a little bit of confusion. Like she never left.
Yeah.
But
I thought you
but
had
she said
switched.
she like I think it was just strain on the connection that we had, where it like changed her her vocal pattern for a short amount of time.
Right. Yeah.
So
By strain, do you mean like, did it feel different to try to grab the cup of water? Like it would, like you
yeah,
were underwater or something, that type of?
yeah, like it was really hard for me to do it.
Huh.
And then, well, and
It's
it wasn't
because
me. It wasn't me doing it for the first part. Like I was allowing her to reach out and grab it and then pull it back. But like, it felt like I had huge weights on my arms when I was doing it. And then even when I grabbed it, I had to pull it in and I'd sit there for a second and like, okay. She's like, how do I work this thing? You know, and I'm like trying to give her direction as to, you know, like how to push the button so that it opens the flap so that I could drink out of it, you know.
That's extra hard mode.
Yeah. And but when I reached over and I grabbed it and I brought it back, like I felt it immediately. Like I started to sweat. I was like, what the heck? Why is this so difficult? You know? And then like even after she took a drink, it was like, okay, drink. And then I put it down. I'm like, okay, now I got to put it back. You know? And then like, it was different. It was really different. The
atmosphere on Sirius B feels like you're in water.
Oh, really?
It feels very condensed, like in water. It's not like when you're in water that everything floats and it's free. No, it's like the atmosphere. Like to pick up a glass, yes, it would be a strain because there's this gravity now in her kind of thing. You know, there's this gravity pulling as well as a fluid like thing that she's in. So yeah, that does make sense to me. Yeah. It's very beautiful.
Wow, so you're saying that like if it were a different type of being from a different planet, it may not have been that strenuous, perhaps? In that sort of way? Maybe?
I don't know.
That's
I would
fascinating.
say so. Yeah.
But I didn't even think about their atmosphere coming into it, right? Like when I was thinking about it, it's like it was just difficult for me to allow her to facilitate to grab the cup, but I didn't even think that I might be able to feel their atmosphere through our connection. That's interesting. I'll have to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah. Wow. Fascinating.
She'll show you as well. Yeah, she's meant to be. How you spell it?
It's in the recording.
AM. Yeah. Yan. Took. Right. This guy is somewhat of. Is not only peaceful, but he brings a lot of wisdom.
I can imagine. I've spoke with one other elephant, and it was very, very informative. Very, very informative. I gotta find that paper. I'm starting to get a stack of papers with all of the information that I'm writing down from beings that I've been speaking with, and all of the different healing modalities or the different understandings of the Akashic Records, and the more people that I speak to about it, the best.
Yeah.
You know, it's super interesting. Really
Bagine showed us the Akashic Records was awesome. You know how it's super protected.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Sandalphon. Archangel.
Is that
Archangel Sandalphon.
Okay.
and
He's the
Ar-
guy that's what?
and Archangel Cassiel are the two that
Okay.
watch over that. And Cassiel does
Okay.
not talk to humans.
I
He's
like him already.
he's like he's Father Time. When people envision Father Time, Cassiel is
Oh,
Father Time, and
and the
his
Casio watch, the make Casio watches. That
yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
spelled different though.
All right.
Cassielle, Cassiel,
Okay.
and yeah, I've seen him once. He waved at me, and that was it. He does not talk to humans. His station is to watch and to record.
Wow.
No, that's what he does. He just writes down absolutely everything. Super interesting guy.
Wow. I can't wait to meet everyone.
It's really crazy. It takes so much time, right? Because you sit there and you're like, man, where do I find the time in the day to be able to reach out to all these people? And then, you make a connection, and just a connection with an angel for an hour, you come out of that conduit and you're just like, oh my God, I'm so ready for a nap. Just getting used to that energy. It takes so long to get used to.
Really?
But once you're used to it, it gets easier and easier and easier.
Right.
But I've been facilitating angelic conduit for my entire life. So, and I really only remember the last 12 years. So I'm pretty used to their energy. And since I've started speaking with them, since September of last year, the energy is way different when you're making a connection to them. And that actually grounding them out to do things. And then once I started doing it consciously, I realized what I was doing subconsciously while I was sleeping. I'd wake up after having a shamanic experience in the astral, and I'd wake up after 8 hours and just still be exhausted. What the heck is going on here? How come I'm still exhausted? And then I'd remember what had happened, and then I'd put it together. It's like, oh, I was grounding out an angel so that they could do work. No wonder I'm still tired, and still need to go down for another 4-hour power nap after that, just to actually re-energize. So it's really like doing double shift. You work while you're awake and you work while you sleep.
Yeah, I find that as well because I work in astral. I teach the hybrids,
Well, and then
that's like a part-time job for me, or a full-time job.
Yeah.
And
then like now
in the last,
that I've been learning from the angels, how to facilitate the energy properly, how I have to ground them out. Now I can, do a whole bunch of astral work and I'll wake up feeling refreshed.
right?
Because I'm actually facilitating the proper energy transfer now. So I'm capable of doing this work in the astral and wake up and be re-energized because now I'm actually facilitating proper energy transfer. So
you can then go into your dream state and be effective and work in people's dreams.
Yeah, you got it.
So you've got a full-time job. It is a full-time, for me, it's a full-time job. I never tend to rest. I'm constantly on a mission of some sort. Whether I know what I'm doing or not, I'm working.
Yeah, I hear you there. Pardon me, I need to use the washer.
Yeah, we need to get going, and I'll get back to you in your inbox and get you some whatever you call it.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
okay.
All right. I'll talk
Thank
to you later.
so much for